on. Oh, there I am. Now you can hear me. I don't know how to get this a bigger picture though. This is a lot of struggling. This is actually perfect for the topic, which is Maycember. Mm. And I know I know Carrie understands Maycember because Carrie has more children than I do.
Wow.
Oh, finally we got it to work.
Here I am. Man, that's stressful.
I gotta get over there and see what the devil's going on with your computer.
You do, because I tried from both pages and you were just ignoring me.
Well,
it's not nice.
Have you ever been able to, has Kate ever been able to add you either?
Yeah, I've come on through the page before.
But it's been weeks, hasn't it?
It's been weeks. But I just keep hitting at, the thing over and over. And I was able to add somebody to my live last week.
Uh-huh. I couldn't, and I had all those other people, then they all started sending their requests, and it was like 5,000. I wonder why. Anyway.
I don't know. You know what it is? I don't investigate until like the second I can't do it. And then I'm like, I should have really looked into this like a half an hour ago.
But I don't know how we would practice. I guess we would need to maybe do it when we weren't trying to do anything else. Like if you were on your computer and then could show your phone, like, okay, where, so we could see.
So do you do it? Are you on your phone or your computer right now?
I'm always on my phone. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I guess I could have tried it from my computer. I feel like I never have luck there either. I always have to go from my phone.
Yeah, I never go live from my computer. It seems more complicated.
I agree. I don't think I've ever been successful from my laptop unless I'm on StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard, I've done that, or Zoom, but it seems like it requires all these like weird things you have to do
settings. Now,
I don't do.
Do you have Skype? Somebody said to me today they need my Skype ID. I was like, I don't think we Skyped anymore.
I haven't. Skype is like saying, do you have a Cabbage Patch Kid? Like, I didn't know Skyping was even around.
And I'm not like obviously technologically savvy, but even I knew that we don't really Skype. That's an old.
They said they need their magnifying glasses. Why do we look like this? We look very far away.
You have to do that because you're the host. You can adjust the settings so that we
How do I do it? Oh, layout. Okay, layout. Is that better?
Look at us.
I'm in my pajamas and somebody just said, "Are you hungover?" I was like, "No, I'm just in my pajamas."
Yeah, well, you've been working at, what was the science project?
It was, you remember, it was the planets.
Oh.
But Amos loves, so this is kind of interesting. Amos loves planets. And actually, the first time he ever really read was one of his siblings had a science project, and he was maybe 4, and he read each planet.
Wow.
And so I have friends with 3rd graders, and they've been like, oh, the science project. And I was like, finally hit me like yesterday, like, well, shouldn't I have the science project too? So I, dug through his folder. I didn't see it. He was out sick the whole week before. And so I sent his teacher a message, his traditional teacher, he's in like regular class and then in exceptional children's. And she said, well, he does science with the other teachers, so I didn't assign it to him since he doesn't do science in here. But I was like, I want him to do it. Like, it's a big deal. It's like little things like that matter, I think. And it's something he enjoys.
Right.
And on Wednesday, they're having a science fair, and that's like fun. So, anyway, I don't think one time I had a friend who was an exceptional children's teacher, and we were talking about something, and she said, I don't think we're purposefully left out. I just think we're overlooked. And I think sometimes that's what it is,
Or I could see them being like, well, why stress him out with that? Why stress them out?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes, you're exactly right. But you know what I did? He built the planets out of Legos.
That's a great idea.
I did the whole box, and then he told me the planets. I wrote them down, and I was hoping he would write them, but he wrote sun and he was kaput. And then he told me a fact about each one of them, and I wrote it down. And he was supposed to do like 3 facts and miles, and I was like, I'm not. We're
Yeah.
accommodating. We're not doing all that.
Right. You made it work
Yeah.
for you. That's
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah. So he was excited about it too. His
Yeah.
his fact about the Earth was it's beautiful.
Oh,
I
that's
know.
special.
And he said one other planet was gassy.
I'm sure a few of them are. Now, does he have any idea about the eclipse tomorrow? And what are you guys getting? Anything?
I mean, I bet we're getting nothing. I
Oh,
hadn't heard a thing. I'm so jealous though. My whole family's from Ohio. I'm like, I could be up there watching it.
I know the road. I mean,
What's
where
happening?
right where we are. I think, honey, how much are we supposed to get? I don't know if he's still listening. You missed him on the subscriber page. Big Joe, not so big Joe, medium Joe, incredibly shrinking Joe made an appearance. What's the percentage of our coverage for the you're not sure. I think it's like 65% for us. But up north is a totality, which is a big deal. So people have been, you couldn't get a reservation in a hotel for up north and near Vermont since the summer for this week. Like
Since the
scientists are
summer.
coming. Yeah. There's scientists from all over coming, and it's supposed to be sunny here. But there's parts of New York, like we used to live in Buffalo, New York, and there's totality there too, but it's supposed to be cloudy. Isn't that a shame? Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you'd gotten a hotel room.
For whatever. Right. In August. Now we have no glasses. Our school is optional for our kids. You tell a teenager that school's optional for them. Although Charlie has his whole varsity baseball team over right now. You'll hear them coming in and out. Charlie's all like to my youngest Henry, like, you should really just go to school. And that way, because if you don't go to school, you can't go to practice. And Charlie cannot understand that somebody wouldn't care that they didn't have to go to practice.
Blair has a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and she's super nervous about that she can't go to practice. And I was like, no, you have a doctor's appointment.
Yeah,
that does not count.
Right. That's what I said to Henry. Why don't you go in the morning? I'll call you out for the eclipse. Come home. I would like somebody to be here, watch it with me. We're going to make.
Well, you can't watch it if you don't have glasses.
No. So we did this in 2017. You take cereal boxes and you make like a homemade projector. It worked beautifully. It'll be fine. Next week, I'll be like,
don't call me when your retinas are burned up. You're like Kate and the dog.
Does Kate still have that dog? I never seen.
Yes. You cannot make your own glasses. It's a real problem.
I might need her dog to help me navigate the world after I can't see it anymore.
Harry gets to see the eclipse tomorrow.
Hi, Blair.
Do I not? Hey.
Well, it's not going to be here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw it last time.
Oh, we did. We had an eclipse several years ago in the summer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're kind of neat. So
yeah,
black marker like this though.
I don't know.
I need it for my projects.
There.
No, not that. I don't.
You guys have a lot of projects going on.
We sure do. I don't have a black marker.
Well, yes, you did.
We used to have something called Invention Convention. Oh my gosh. I'm sure families like broke down over Invention Convention in the 4th grade. They had to come up with an invention for science with all these different like requirements, and it was horrible. Joe handles all of that. I don't do projects. They're above my pay grade.
I'd like to make a list of the things. There goes the magnet village.
Oh, does he have those tiles? Is that what he was playing? Oh, we loved those. I loved those.
We love them until something goes wrong with them, and now that sounds like a window has been blown out.
Oh no. Well, they're loud, the magnet tiles.
Yes. The house is destroyed. Okay, well, you can
no.
build it again.
Oh. He gets frustrated.
Well, to me, it looks like how we used to do cards.
Oh, yeah.
Did you build card houses?
Oh, yeah.
It was 4 stories high of those magnet tiles. So then it falls, and he's been working on it for like 30 minutes, which is rare in itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a lot of attention span. Oh, we gave all of ours away. We had GeoTracks, the trains.
Oh, yeah, we don't have those.
Thomas. Tons of Thomas the Train, Legos. I mean, we had bins after bins of Legos that I donated. And then I loved those magnetizers. They're not cheap though.
No, I bought them during COVID, and then we used them on the beach. Well, they rusted out,
Oh, yeah, I
so
could see that.
we had to get more.
Yeah.
No, and they have a lot of them at school, but he does enjoy them. He kind of will play. He'll build houses for the Lego people. He really likes Lego people.
So he's really into pretend play.
It's pretty new.
Wow, that's great.
In the last year, maybe he like will. Yeah, he is. In the last year, he's kind of gotten into it.
I can't say Jack ever, and even to this day, played with anything.
Uh,
He destroyed things. He took things apart. And it's the same with movies and television at home. He loves to go to the theaters, even still.
right.
He would never sit here and watch a movie with us or a television show unless it was like during COVID, we used to watch that 25 words or less. It was this game show where you have to describe something and the contestant would try to guess it. But anyway, he never would have the attention to sit and I've never seen him build anything, but he'll bake.
Uh-huh. And
So
what did he do when he was younger then? When he was
drove
10?
me crazy. He organized things. He loved to organize like our pantry or the silverware drawers, or he worried. He just like, how to put it? He just followed me around and wondered what we were going to have for Christmas dinner and what we ate in, August of 2002 or whatever, like always like ruminating on something that wasn't really relevant to present day.
Uh-huh.
And then I'd have to set up an activity for him and like, let's do this puzzle. It'd be hard to get him through the puzzle. He never liked to be outside. So he just ran errands with me. He was a very hard kid to occupy.
Yeah, no, that is hard. Did
Like
he keep busy if his siblings were doing something?
better. They were better. He was better if they were around for sure, like to be
Uh-huh.
drawn into their activities. But
Building a fort or something.
yes, even that would be like a limited time. He used to spend a lot of time. We had a mini trampoline and he would jump on it in the playroom. Like until then, he got way too big for a mini trampoline and jumped through it.
Right, right.
Yeah, trains.
Yeah, he has Legos. Now he likes to have the television on while he's playing at the same time. He kind of, sits and plays and watches.
Yeah. Now Jack would he put the television on. He also loved, if he was Amos's age, he would be making playlists constantly. Like on my phone, or we had
You mean like songs?
Yeah, like rearranging songs.
Oh.
And if I looked on my phone now, I have a playlist for every holiday, every event, every car ride, every milestone. He would make a playlist around it.
And see, I don't think Amos could tell you one song that he knows.
Oh, he's not into music.
I just don't even think he's ever. It's like pretend play, like it's far beyond his sphere. He likes to hear it, but he wouldn't tell you who like a singer was or an actor or
Okay.
he's not. I mean, I don't even think, when you said sometime like could he drive, like he doesn't understand the concept of streets.
Oh, that's interesting. So Jack, we always say the sad part about Jack not driving, there's many sad parts, is that he knows every street. He could get you, like if he was still home, he could get you anywhere in New Hampshire that he'd been before. He'd have to have been there before.
Right.
And I would say, what's the best way to go to Meredith's house if we were bringing another kid to a friend's house?
Uh-huh.
And this is a funny story. My oldest is in college, and a couple years ago, maybe last year, my brother and sister-in-law were going to Philadelphia and they were going to stop in on my oldest. But my oldest didn't know, he didn't have their cell phone number and he didn't know what their car was. So he was like kind of watching for them. He says, the first person I called was Jack. And Jack's like, now they are driving a Toyota Highlander. And their phone numbers are area code 603. And Jack used to be a riot and very useful when you're waiting for an Uber. Because you'd be like, okay, we're waiting for a Nissan Pathfinder. And he could spot it like that. So cars were always his thing.
Cars.
Yeah. And
that's sort of useful.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's just funny how I guess I thought Amos was into music.
he likes music. Like sometimes if you're riding in the car, he'll say, turn on music,
Mm.
but he doesn't, I've never gotten more from him than that.
He doesn't know Demi Lovato's first single release.
No,
No.
no, he doesn't know names and stuff like that.
And
He
Jack
knows
is
countries.
it's yes, so he's country. So Jack's all movies, like when Disney released the Moana and all and what it got on Rotten Tomatoes and like all of that.
Right. Oh,
Uh,
that's so interesting. Well,
yeah,
that's good that he can like research. Yeah, no.
I guess.
We are has Jack ever been to camp? Did he ever go
Yeah.
to camp?
Yeah. He went for 3 years to like a really low demand YMCA camp. We managed to get it so there's a boy one and a girl one, and we sent all 5 at once for a week
Ah,
for 3 years in a row. And he was successful because his brothers were there. And also these camps are run by like big oversized kids that
right.
are like, whatever. He shot a BB gun today, like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
chill and
Casual.
casual. And he enjoyed it. And I always say that's how I felt confident that him going to a post high school program, it was worth a try because I knew he could sleep like away from us.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
saw you were talking about summer earlier. Again, I was thinking that's so funny because as special needs parents, like we have to start talking about summer after New Year's, right? We have to start planning
Well,
too.
we just don't have any we don't have any good options for him. He is doing a week of camp for people with disabilities.
Okay.
Because the week, and we have some Y camps too, but they're pretty like he's 10, where developmentally he plays really well with like probably a 4-year-old,
Hmm.
So the 10-year-olds are all doing 10-year-old
Yeah.
year old stuff. So he's going to do a week with people with disabilities, and this is a camp called Camp Trinity, and I'm on the board of it. It's owned by the Episcopal Church.
Oh,
And it's really neat. It's on 50 acres between the Sound and the ocean, and there's a tunnel that goes under the road to get to the
wow.
beach. And it was given by the Roosevelt family years ago to the Episcopal Church. And it, he's going to do the disability week, and my son Russell is a counselor that week. So all
Oh.
their counselors are volunteer, but they're campers that have been there for 30 years. It's
Mm.
they came at I mean, I think there's one camper that has been there like 51 summers. I mean, 70 now and was like in their 20s when they started.
And they're still
So,
going as
yes,
campers.
so there's no age limit. You just go for your week and you have your own person. And so Russell will be paired with, I think, a young adult with Down syndrome who's pretty like able to like get himself dressed and bathed and kind of work who's with who.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Amos is going to be with. Amos is by far the youngest camper. I think the next youngest is maybe 18. But we decided it was good because it's very flexible. Like if
Yeah.
you don't want to do arts and crafts at the regular camp, kind of it's set up that you got to
Yeah.
do arts and crafts. So he could go swimming or do whatever.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so it'll be fun. It's 2 miles down from our road. It's our
Y-
place at the beach. So that
You're
will be
reminding me though of something I
good.
thought of because I traveled last week and I shared with you and
Yeah,
Kate that I was eating in the hotel restaurant and there was a man in his 30s who told everybody that he had autism. And
right.
and um and it was an interesting experience to see him sort of on display and people's reactions to him. And I came away thinking, I have never seen an old man with autism. Like,
So we have a fella in our town that I see at the coffee shop pretty much. Now he does not talk, but
okay,
I know, well, I guess he has autism. He might have some other kind of special need. But he sits and I always, say hello and he says hello back, but he's kind of quiet and he goes in the coffee shop every morning.
that's
Um,
interesting.
but I don't know his story. I
But
don't
I've
know
never
his story.
seen like an like a
He's
man.
late 60s, I would say, this guy.
Yeah, I've never seen an older man move like my son, move like Jack does.
Mm,
The
hmm.
stimming and the rubbing and all Jack's always like around his ears and he rocks a lot. I've never it's
Uh-huh.
so interesting. I mean, it's got to be there, right?
Yeah, and Amos doesn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Well, he might actually. He doesn't do that, but and maybe I've just got so used to it. I feel like he's kind of always looking around a little bit, maybe, but not the like to me
The hallmark.
traditional,
Yeah.
yes, flapping or that kind of thing.
Yeah, Jack will do that, or he has a bit of a verbal stim, or he'll grunt a little bit, and clear his throat really quickly. And I've
Mhm.
never seen that. Now, this I want to say young man, he was in his 30s, who I saw in the restaurant, came the closest, I think, to having the same mannerisms as Jack.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a verbal tick, but realized it was medicine induced.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you know? What medicine?
Well, SSRIs in general cause him to have a verbal tick.
Wow.
And he was
Hmm.
on Lexapro for like a year before it started, and it was kind of this like a breathing tick, and then and they were like, well, maybe he's just got ticks, and I was like, no, like this was not here. And when we stopped,
It went away.
totally gone.
That's
Mhm.
so interesting. I should really investigate because he is on an SSRI. And
And the pediatric psychiatrist who we love at Duke Autism, when I said to him at the time, could it be a tick? Because like one of my followers or something mentioned it. And he was like, it would be very unusual, but hey, let's try it, which I loved. Like,
I
so nice to have a doctor that's like, maybe so. And darn if it didn't go away, Anyway.
I love Jack's pediatrician. He doesn't go to the same one as our others do. This one, he just connects with him so well. And this is a little embarrassing. I saw him at Orange Theory, the doctor, and I mentioned some other side effects that I've been noticing in Jack. And here's the doctor, like he's there to work out. He's not there to talk to me.
Right, right,
So I was trying to be caught, not like infringe on him. He
right.
knew off the top of his head what Jack was taking.
Wow.
I thought that is so special to me that
Right.
what a great
Yeah.
guy. He's
Yeah.
like, it's not this. And I know we started that. It's not that. He just went through all, like, would struggle to retrieve the names.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. I was just thinking, what is it? What was it?
So
And
does
he's a pediatrician.
he's a pediatrician.
So
Does
what
he,
happens when you age out of the pediatrician?
well, he could go there until he's like 21, I think. And then
Uh-huh.
I think what we'll wind up doing in the next year or so, because Jack will be 20 in May. I can't believe it, is find a doctor where he is.
Oh, okay.
Because you'll see this when Thomas goes, how far away will Thomas be from you?
2 hours.
Yeah, so well, my oldest lives in Phil, he doesn't even live in the same
Yeah.
state. And as they get more transitioned into college, they start, like, my oldest found an eye doctor near him because it made
Right.
more sense. He'll
Right.
eventually move his doc, he'll choose a doctor in that area. And I think where Jack lives now, I think he'll settle there. I think he'll be there a long enough time that it's
Right.
worth for us to look for a doctor. We are looking for an eye
Uh-huh.
doctor right now because Mike, do any of your kids wear glasses?
No, I do.
Yeah,
But no, they don't.
because three out of five wear glasses.
And we go to the eye doctor every year. My dad was an eye doctor,
Oh,
so
right, yeah.
I've feel like it's important to just go every year. My friend Mary Scott's like, why would you go? How do you know that? But it's just good,
It is because I'll
just
tell you,
good.
with my oldest, well, they screen them in school. So you think, well, they passed that janky
Well,
school.
that's like a total joke.
I know. My oldest was in church with us, and he couldn't do something really fundamental. Like, he couldn't see something that really should
Right.
have been seen.
Right.
And I have very bad vision. It was discovered late. And I remember getting contacts and being like, oh, you can see the leaves on the trees.
That's exactly what I said. I was 9. I didn't know
Yeah.
you were supposed to be able to see the leaves. And my dad was an eye doctor.
So I guess to Mary Scott, who I adore, but you don't know what you're not seeing until you see it.
Well, and you need a baseline of your optic nerve and of different things. So if something goes wrong, so Chris is like, I thought Amos wore glasses. Amos did wear glasses from the time he was 6 months old. He had his first glasses because he had exotropia, which he still does. But the last time we went to the doctor last year, his astigmatism was better, and she said, now he doesn't need to wear glasses all the time.
Mm.
And I said, well, he doesn't do well with sometimes, you either do
Right,
something
right.
or you don't do it. And she said, well, let's go without, and we go back pretty soon. Let's go without for a year and let's see how he's doing. So
But
anyway,
he looks so cute in his glasses.
well, he was good about wearing them when he was a baby, but then he goes through, they're not, if you're on the beach or in the pool, it's always just and then he throws the things or the lenses pop out. I mean, it's just a constant.
Well, we had a really complicated journey because, again, Jack was screened at school. This is so bad on our part. He always read out of his right eye. Like if he was reading at school, he would be reading like that. And we thought, well, that's just one more, sort of quirky thing
Right.
Jack does.
Right.
And he passed the screenings at school, didn't think much of it. And then we went to the eye doctor. I don't know if you've ever had this. Well, no, if your kids don't wear glasses, but I was sitting there and you know how they flash the, like, can you read this line? And he's like, no. This line, no. The letters are like this big by now. And I'm like, sweating. What do you mean? He can't read them.
Were
This
you
was,
like, are you sure you can't? Yeah.
I was like, it's an A. This was when his right eye was covered. It turns out he had severe amblyopia, lazy eye.
And you couldn't see it?
We didn't know. No, so it didn't
See,
manifest.
Amos's is like out here.
The strabismus, that came later. So
Oh.
I had a lazy eye, which we corrected when I was 5. I remember it vividly that I hated that patch. But
We wore the patch. Oh.
9 is late to start patching and hoping you're going to get any kind of improvement.
Right.
Our whole family patched in an effort to get Jack to wear this patch. And he wore it for a year. We got some improvement. And then I remember over COVID, this was really upsetting, but nobody's fault necessarily. Over COVID, he had to just update the prescription on his glasses. And, we got the glasses just as everything shut down. And then for the 6 or 8 months, he said all the time, I have a headache. I have a headache. And we thought, well, everybody has a headache, Jack. I mean, I didn't blow it off, but it was like, I'm not sure. They had switched accidentally the lenses in his glasses. Oh, so heartbroken. Then when we went back and she was looking and, they're testing and all of that.
Right.
And I thought this poor kid, because he wears drastically different lenses.
Yes. Right. Oh, that's terrible.
It was terrible. But
yeah, it's hard to know, we had spring break this past week. And we took my friend Mary Scott and her 2 girls, and Cecilia is a little bit younger than Amos. And obviously we did a nanny share when they were tiny, because I was, just starting to work, blog, whatever. And so they've been around each other, but they had the best time. And I don't know why you're making me think about that, but I was talking to my other kids this afternoon, and we were making plans like next weekend and who's going to eat dinner with who, all this kind of stuff that I don't really do with him. And so suddenly Amos had this friend for the week, and it was like life changing how much fun he had.
Wow. And he
to
was
have her.
occupied not by you.
Well, and he would have been fine. Like he would have done his own thing. Like he'll do Legos or watch TV, but he just had so much more fun. Like he would have fun if I was in the pool with him, but it's more fun if you have a friend your own age or at the playground, like mommy chasing, like you said, is not that fun all the time. But
And you put that picture up of them, right, at the merry-go-round?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it made me think, like, she was there, but as he gets older, well, when we're in our little town, like we're pretty insulated and like safe. Everybody knows Amos. I mean, everybody, and he's accepted. And then we go out into the world, like even at this playground, and he, steps on somebody's fingers or and he immediately, children are cutthroat.
Yeah.
Other children are. And not because they're being mean, they just don't know. And it's hard because it's like, gosh, it's just hard when you talk about Jack being older, or the man being out in the world, like wanting him to be in a community where they see and accept him, not like, ugh, what's he doing?
Right. And when I was at this restaurant, there were so many people smirking. And I was talking to
Yeah.
a guy. He came over to he sort of made his way to everybody. And it
Right.
took my breath away how much he resembled Jack.
Uh,
And I had had a very long day. I'd been up since 4 a.m. to travel. And but I was interested in everything he had to say. And then he took his laptop over to me and he wanted to show me a video of him and his mother and how from very early on he it looked like he had autism. He was so desperate to share his story, right?
right.
Turns out we were both there for the same conference. I was speaking at an
Oh,
autism conference and he was there. I don't think he was speaking, but sort of like participating.
uh-huh.
And I thought, at what point do the symptoms fog up the story? So his
Oh,
symptoms were getting in the way for other people to see his real story, but autism is the story. But
right.
he's speaking a little too loud and he's like here and
Uh-huh.
he's asking to taste my food and
Which seems like stuff you could work on. Like, don't they kind of work on that sort of thing? Like your son Jack wouldn't do that.
no, like I got in the elevator and I called Joe after I texted you guys and I was a little emotional, like seeing
Right.
this brave man so
Right.
vulnerable. And Joe was like, well, even Jack wouldn't do that. He wouldn't ask for your leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And
but see, like Amos will drink people's drinks.
yeah,
Like he doesn't even, it's not, I mean, he doesn't even talk to him about it. He just, if he's thirsty and
right,
there's a drink, it's fair game,
right.
It's
It's sort of that question, like, the autism community, it's Autism Awareness Month, and I see a lot of memes like, I won't change my child for the world. The
right.
world has to change. I do
Right.
understand that, but I feel it's a little bit unpopular. Like, we do have to sort of smooth some edges out if we want them to be seen really for who they are.
Yeah. It's definitely a game of tennis. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't, I was telling a story earlier about this mother who her child was at my child's school. Like, there's a limit, right? Like, you have to do a certain amount of things. And this mother wanted her son, he liked to keep his privates out of his pants.
Mm.
And the mother felt like this was reasonable.
Oh,
And he
how
could
old is
just,
the kiddo?
he was like 7.
Ugh.
She just felt like, he can wear a long shirt. And the principal was like, no, we ain't doing that. That ain't happening, which to me is reasonable. Like, no, we
Yes.
cannot do that. And so, or Amos wants to, you have to wear shoes if you go in a restaurant. They're just some basic, you have
Yeah.
to wear pants or you have to, like, and you have to wear a seatbelt on the airplane, right? Like,
Right.
and if you can't wear a seatbelt on the airplane, then you can't go on the airplane. Or we tried to go to a store the other day. We wanted to get our team was in the Final Four, and
Mm.
I wanted to get a t-shirt because I was like, I'm going to send it to Thomas. Well, there were 70 people in line. 70.
Mm.
We could not do that line. And I didn't think that the store should be like, you come to the front, you have a child with a disability. I was like, we're not going to get the shirt. So it's that line of that. But then I had this experience with Spirit Airlines that maybe most of you have read about where I had paid for the suitcase. Amos was very upset, wanted the suitcase with him. He was anxious. And I said, okay, we'll take the suitcase with us. This seemed like a reasonable accommodation,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, well, you're going to have to pay for the suitcase again because you paid to check it, not to carry it on.
Well, Spirit's, I haven't flown them yet.
Well, they're cheap.
Yeah.
And, but it was one of those things where somebody was like, well, you want a lot of things. I was like, no, if I hadn't had Amos, one, I wouldn't have wanted to carry the suitcase on. And two, like, I wouldn't have been put in this situation, like, so you're always juggling like what's reasonable and what's, you know, people love to say, well, that's white privilege or, I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
Like, it's disability, like accommodation.
Yeah. And it's measuring
It's
in the
hard.
moment what's worth
Yeah.
getting through a flight. Yeah.
Yeah. I paid another $50 and went on about my business.
I probably would have been right there with you. I mean,
But I
some
didn't
things
have
are
a
not worth.
choice.
There's no lesson in that. Like, if there was a lesson for
No.
Amos where you could, in that moment, stretch him, okay, maybe you try. But there's no
Right.
lesson there.
Right.
But you know, somebody said it to me, Jack, when he was in preschool, used to hit a lot. And I can't remember who told me, maybe my sister-in-law or somebody else, like at some point, it doesn't matter if he has autism. If he's hitting people, this is what she said. The law doesn't care at the end of the day, right? If he's aggressive as an adult. I mean, that was a far way out, but it was kind of like made me stop and think. Like there's some parts of our society that are not going to care what he has. And like having your you know, at 7, having your privates out, like that's not okay. And I get it. We had to work Jack through some like
hard things,
clothing issues. He didn't always like to wear clothes when he was younger, and
right.
And boundary issues and all of that. And that gets sticky as they get older.
Well, and as you're saying that the young man at the restaurant, to me, like with Amos, it makes me think, well, we need to make sure we're out at restaurants and that we are really like, these are your things at your place, because that seems like a teachable thing to me. You know, even for Amos, I could teach him that, or you're going to sit here. But then you're also saying, well, he probably needed somebody to go out to dinner with. You know, how do you make sure that's happening?
I know.
Right? So you're not on your own, or, you know.
I know. And yeah, it was an interesting fast forward to like, he was alone, but he didn't want to be, you know, and he kept saying, so he wound up sort of next to me, and that was fine. But he kept, you know, it was every 30 seconds, like, I don't mean to interrupt, but let me show you this video. Like, again, not reading, like, here's a woman on her own. And it would be a lot for Jack to pick up on, like, oh, she seems tired, or she isn't, you know, we say constantly to Jack, even when he's not with us, that's new information. So if I had a bird's eye view of that and I wasn't sitting in it, I would have said, hey, that woman's giving you new information. She's looking at her phone. She's just sort of eating quietly. Like that's information for you to take in and see if you can like get a conclusion from it. And it also, but you just wonder if Jack will ever be able to do that.
But I think you also will say, okay, if he is really social, if a child is super social like that, which is not, Amos is not like that yet, but that to me screams, I need a community living situation.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And fun things to do. We have a group, you know, group home is so different now than it used to be, but we have a place in Edenton, and the young men volunteer at the Habitat store twice a week. And they are, one of them, Brandon, super chatty, you know, and he loves it because they're at the Habitat store and they're talking and helping customers. So you're taking his personality, like this young man, and you're saying, well, you're going to really enjoy this activity because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Right.
That's where you thrive.
Yeah. And so you, as a parent or community, we have to put all those pieces together. It's hard.
You're reminding me even that we have a Trader Joe's in town, and I don't go often, but they have a guy there that's like, seems like a Jack to me, right? He is like 20 decibels too loud, almost to where he startles you, like, hello.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then one, you're like, well, how lovely is that? Right. But it is jarring.
Yeah.
And again, it's just that edge. Or there's another grocery store. We have a million grocery stores in our town. No restaurants, not hardly any restaurants, but you could cook your own food if you want.
Right.
And he's this one guy who I happen to know for a fact is on the spectrum, and he bags there. And I want to say to the manager, okay, tell this person, you can ask the customer 3 questions and that's it. Like quantify it for him.
Right.
He wants to be successful. You have to give him the tools and not, you know, instead this individual's like holding everybody up with all these questions and
right.
Like build in some parameters. I think that is what we work to do with Jack.
Well, I think you could say that. I told our grocery store manager one time a woman had a service dog in the grocery cart, and I was like, we have a service dog who's not with us today, but I will tell you that is illegal. Service dogs have to be on the ground walking in the grocery store. They are not allowed. That's one of those like parameters.
Yeah.
Ain't no service dog allowed to be in the grocery cart
nestled
or at a
in with
chair at a restaurant. And he was
I'm
like,
sure
oh,
even Wolfie wouldn't even be allowed to be.
but there are people that will do that. And the grocery store manager was like, oh, thank you for telling me. Cause he's like, doesn't want to get,
Oh yeah.
arrested for calling out somebody. But he went right up to her and was like, you cannot have the service dog.
That is so funny. Now, did you bring Honor on spring break?
No, we did not. We only went we went Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
So it was a quick trip and she probably would have been really helpful on the way there, but she needs a lot. I mean, she's a dog.
Yeah.
So she needs walks and all the things, and I just didn't feel great about trying to juggle her and
Mm-hmm.
then friends and what we were doing, like I wanted to just, and you can't take her, um she cannot go to the beach.
Oh.
Um because, well, she associates beach with fun, and so the beach, which at home is fine, but this beach, is crowded and busy, and she would need to be vested and leashed, and
Mm,
like if she's on the beach with Amos, she's in the water with him the whole time.
wow.
And I couldn't, it would have been too much.
Would she, if it had worked out, been helpful in the airport with the bag?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been helpful.
And now, when
Mhm.
you take her anywhere, do you have to show that she's a service dog? Like you have papers?
So she wears her vest, obviously, and then she has a badge, like a photo ID. Amos has a photo ID, and I have a photo
Oh,
ID, and they're all on her vest.
okay.
And so when you fly, you're kind of expected to do a higher level. So she has an airport ID. So we had to, like, our vet had to fill out things. We had to fill out her disability task. They've just made it harder so that people can't like do this kind of fake
Right.
service dog thing. And now airlines are letting people take their dogs on planes. And I think that's helping too, because people are like, they don't feel like they need to fake it anymore,
Yeah, oh, right, right, right. I saw that
because
when I was traveling.
they can. But it's hard, if she flies, like the day that she flies, she can't have any food or water after like 10 p.m. the night before.
Mm,
So if which is fine, but that kind of like if you're going for 4 days, that's Monday and Thursday that she's
yeah,
off her schedule, and it's just
one extra thing. She doesn't
yeah.
go to school with him?
No, so I am her handler. So basically, if I am there, then she can be there. But
Oh,
Amos can't take care of her needs. Like he
okay.
wouldn't know to take her out to the bathroom or
Right, I guess that
he,
makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
like Jack would maybe be at a point where he could. There are young adults that do take their dogs to school, but they would be at a higher level than Amos is. The
Yeah.
ability to care for them.
There's a young woman in Jack's program who has a service dog, and she takes
Ah,
care of him. And I wonder, Jack had a sticky beginning. He was terrified of dogs until we got,
right.
and now he'll ask a lot. How's the dog? Send me a picture of the dog. And I thought, I wonder if one day, not
That would be a
today.
good activity for him.
Yeah,
Mhm,
like, okay, I walk the dog twice a day, and it's good. Just I don't think he would need a service dog,
mhm.
but maybe I don't know. It's just one of those like, wow, like what's possible.
But for him, the so your disability tasks have to be active. It can't be like, oh, it makes me feel good, right?
Right, right.
And so honors disability tasks are deep pressure for calming. Like if you get upset, she'll lay on his legs, or we go to the doctor. She's really helpful. She sits in the dentist chair with him,
Mhm.
those types of things. And then anchoring for anxiety. So like if maybe Jack was in a situation where he felt like he was getting anxious, Honor will anchor to you and tell you that she'll anchor to me to alert me that I'm getting anxious because Amos is anxious.
Wow. And she just knows.
Well, she's been trained to do
Yeah.
that. And so and we have a three-way relationship, which is very complicated because she's alerting me to my anxiety, which oftentimes might come from him. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's interesting though.
She
But
works
it
hard.
does, yeah, she does. She does.
And so
Yeah.
like where is she right now?
So she's probably sitting in there with him with the magnetiles.
But she doesn't like bark like Wolfie does. Like she doesn't have
Oh
any
yeah,
of that.
no, no, she's a regular dog. Like if
Oh, she
somebody
is.
comes up to the door, she,
Yeah.
yes. But if she's vested, she's a different person.
Wow, that's her signal. Like, I'm working now.
Yes, like she will not bark in her vest. But
Okay.
if she likes to work. I mean, she loves to go somewhere. We haven't, we got her right before COVID, so that was kind of weird, like we weren't out in public a ton.
Right.
And I need to take her. I can't really spend much time at school because then Amos wants to leave.
Mm.
So that's not been ideal, but
How do you think he'll do tomorrow going in?
I don't know. He's been like, when are we going on the airplane? So today I broke it to him that it was October. I just made up a date. So I'm sure it'll be, I'll, talk to his, I'll send his teachers a message. That's a good idea. And be like, remember, it's our first day back after 3 weeks. Let's just require
3 weeks. Yeah.
well, we went skiing, he was
That
sick, and then spring break.
you,
So,
well, it'll be a tough couple of mornings, but oh, I
yeah.
remember that. And so he'll do that 1 week in the summer, but then that's it pretty much?
Yeah, we don't have anything. I usually find somebody to help me a few days a week. Our nanny is at home, so she'll help a little bit, but she doesn't stay with us at the beach. So usually it's just kind of he and I, and then my other kids trying to juggle them and drag them around wherever they're going.
Yeah, because Russell doesn't drive.
No, he could, but he doesn't have his license yet. But yes, he has an internship that's going to require a lot of drive. I spend a lot of time driving.
Yeah.
My oldest son is a camp counselor, so he'll be at camp.
Yeah.
Camp called Camp Seagull, and then my daughter, she'll be working at a restaurant after she does some like trips and camps and stuff.
Good for her. Yeah, Rose just got into a crew camp. That'll be a month.
Okay.
She'll be gone for a month.
Oh, I bet she'll like that.
I think she'll really like that. I think it'll be good. It's kind of like a collegiate based camp. So it'll be good, like, hey, do I want to do this in college or not? Which
Right.
means I'll only have two at home, Charlie and Henry. And Charlie's like gone half
Drives and does
yeah,
things.
drives, his life and everything. So it's going to be quiet. It'll be a quiet summer.
Oh, you need to come spend some time with me.
I do. I'll come watch Amos. I would love to spend the day with Amos.
You'd be real tired.
He's a mover. He's
Yeah.
a mover in the way that I think I can say Cooper and Jack are not.
Yeah, no, he does. And we have a good, we get up, I'd like do a little work, we'll go on the beach, come back, hang out, then we end up going to the pool and
Yeah.
play, but we haven't he just got to figure out a way for him to have more like friends to do stuff with down there. Because it's at the beach, not at home.
Right. You should take Cecilia with you.
Well, you want to talk about a mover. Cecilia will wear your tush out. I mean, you've never seen anybody move.
Well,
so
she's the athlete, right? Like she's very talented.
And she's like, what are we doing next?
Oh.
All day long.
Oh, I had one of those. That's very tiresome, very tiring.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, Mary still works for me. So she does. So in the summer, we just kind of have a different schedule in the summer. But that's good. Well, thank you for this.
Thank you. You have to I'm sorry this didn't work out better, but
I know. And I don't, so can we do this on the subscriber page with the StreamYard?
I don't know. Can you do #subscribers?
Let's try it. Does Russell not want to get his driver's license? Well, he needs to practice driving. They're off at school, so that's sort of tricky. So I think he would like to. I think one, he doesn't have a car. But yes, I do think that's something we'll work on this summer.
Did he do driver's ed where you have to have a certain number of hours?
Yeah, he did driver's ed. He got his permit, but then he got his permit and immediately went back to school.
Yeah.
So he hasn't driven.
Yeah.
Like at all.
We had to get 40 hours. Each kid has to get 40 hours.
And I think ours is 120 or something. And I mean, I don't mind. I could fudge that but he really has not driven at all. And now it's been so long that he's like, doesn't feel comfortable driving. So anyway, and Blair is in driver's ed starting May.
Oh, wow.
And no one is comfortable riding with her.
Well, Henry can start driving. So here, when you're 15 and 9 months, you can start driving with your parent. And so
we have to be 14 and a half to do driver's ed.
Oh, wow. No, you have to be 15 and 9 months. And it's 15 and a half and you drive with a parent.
Oh, no, 15 on the dot, you're driving.
Oh, God. Isn't that so young?
Well, especially when you look at her. You're like,
Well,
do you want to ride in a highway with her?
she's
And my
petite.
husband cannot do it. I'm sure Joe probably did it with your crowd.
He did do it with our crowd. There's just certain things I can't dip my toe into.
I think Joe does like a lot of things.
He does do a lot.
He cooks, he orders groceries, he does
Well,
the
he
homework,
cooks big.
college tours,
He does all the college tours. He's taking Rose for all of
all
April.
the forms.
He's a former. Right now, don't blow him up. He's sitting over there doing all the taxes. Adrian, I see you. Oh, he's smiling.
I did the taxes.
Oh, you're doing the taxes, honey. Okay, this is him all day.
Carrie goes to the gym.
I go to the gym. So we
Right.
sit back to back, and right, his office is right behind mine in the house, and I'm writing, and every 5 minutes is like, what is this expense? What is photomart.com? Where did you order this from?
It's probably good that I do the taxes, actually.
He has Joe has a tax mind. We all have our parts to play. I cook on the regular basis, and Joe does these like big special meals that get all the attention because they're fun.
Yeah, well, that's important.
He's fun.
He's fun. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you.
And I'm gonna try. I'll figure it out, and then we'll do it another time. I'll try it.
All right, go put Amos to. Does he have to go to bed now?
Yes, he's got to go to bed. Yes. So subscribers, I'll see y'all in like 30 minutes after I get him to bed.
I have 20 teenagers in the bed. Isn't it good? Did you hear them at all?
No.
Yeah, they came in and out. They were playing basketball, but I told them if you make noise, then you have to come on.
Oh, that's good. That'll keep them out.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Okay. Bye.